All right, guys. Good morning. It is Monday. A lot of stuff to talk about today. Look at gold as we speak. Gold is up to 34.20s right now. Look at it right below me. Gold is spiking up. Talk about today. As we speak. Hold on, we might have an echo. Gold is up to 34.20s right now. Look at it right below me. Gold is spiking up. Talk about today. As we speak. Hold on, we might have an echo. Gold is up to 34.20. Sorry, had to fix the echo, but yeah, man, gold spiking up. All right, there's the NASDAQ on the left. You can see most stuff's actually pretty green today. SPY is green, NASDAQ is green, Nvidia is green, gold is green. Yesterday we opened up under 23,000 on the NASDAQ. So yesterday we were under 23K. Now we are pushing over it. What's up, Pawn, Pizza, Fender, Best, Ray, TG, Simple, Ryan. Good morning, guys. I'm here today. Good morning. Yeah, we're gonna do a poll today. So the biggest driver of markets is there's a lot of stuff that happened last week. Last week we had the FOMC meeting. The Federal Reserve Chair indicated a patient approach, kind of a hawkish approach. Following that on Friday, market attention turned to the July job report, with the big thinking is that the FOMC might be a little bit more dovish in September. Basically what happened is that basically what happened is that on Friday they revised May and June payroll data by almost 260,000 jobs, right? So we basically came in much weaker than expected for June and May, and that the May and June numbers are what partially drove the Federal Open Market Committee to be more hawkish, especially Jerome Powell during Wednesday's meeting. And so now that those numbers were revised, people are looking at the economy in a lot more weak lens, and that might drive interest rates to get cut earlier than expected. After the FOMC meeting, again, Powell was pretty hawkish. Now even Gemini is getting some stuff wrong. So yeah, the headline number for July showed the U.S. economy added a small 73,000 jobs, which was much below expectations. They downward revised June and May. It shattered the perception of a resilient jobs market. This was the most shocking impact of it. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And then they even laid off the so the president fired the head of labor statistics. And That's probably one of the biggest news that's been hitting markets. You know, the president accused the head of the BLS of inflating job numbers to an all-time high prior to the U.S. election, just days after, you know, firing her. The president made a social media post yesterday saying, he's been posting a lot, saying, quote, the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics did the same thing just before the election when she lifted the numbers for jobs to an all-time high. I then won the election anyway, and she readjusted the numbers downward, calling it a mistake. And yeah, that's kind of what's influencing markets right now. Although markets are up a little bit today. Refresh this browser. You know, we're back over 23,000. It really, I actually like where we're at now for price action in the NASDAQ because it allows me to be able to play 23,000. I think 23,000 is just a big psychological level that we can pay attention to right down here. And so we can either buy the dip. If it breaks underneath it, we can capitalize on it. Gold is spiking up right now. All right, so 68 countries, including Canada, India, and more, hit with tariffs. That's probably the big news today, aside from the payroll jobs report. Dude, honestly, I'm using AI. Both AI systems are just wrong. We have Palantir earnings today. I don't know. You know, and again, I'm pretty neutral politically, Lee. And I get it, people are really, like, partisan. Like, people root for one side, basically, specifically, and they root for the same story. But I think if the BLS is having to revise data they're going to sell, each side's going to sell you a story, right? And this is something where I'm very neutral in all this stuff. But I think if the BLS is revising the numbers that much, where at first they're showing a super strong, resilient economy, and then they're revising it all the way back down to a point in which maybe we should have lowered interest rates already, I think that might be a justifiable layoff, personally. You know, I think we have to be accurate with those numbers because that's what influences monetary policy. And I think if we're not, you know, people have to have like a desire to be accurate with those numbers. And I think I don't think they should have ever been off by that many, you know. And so again, I've disagreed with the president in a lot of things. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with letting the head go because, you know, they messed up. They should have never missed it by that much. You know, and again, it doesn't mean I'm against you, you know, but it also doesn't mean, like, again, both sides try to sell you a story. I'm just trying to stay in the middle of it. I hope that makes sense. Incompetent, but at least honest. Next one could be dishonest. Yeah, but I think this sets a precedent. And I think it's important to make sure they're accurate, you know. All right, so we have some earnings today. Palantir specifically. Yeah, and it's all love. Like I said, I'm not really rooting for the president or anything like that. I think if those bad numbers didn't, uh, I think we should have seen those numbers already. You know. But it's all love. It's all good, guys. So yeah, President signed an executive order imposing new tariffs ranging from 10 to 41% on imports from 68 countries. This includes India, Canada, Taiwan, South Korea, Brazil, South Africa. These take effect August 7th. Markets responded strongly to this, of course, after Friday as well, with everything. Again, July non-farm payroll report came in 73,000, way below expectations. And they revised the months of May and June down 258,000, indicating labor market softness. Unemployment rose to 4.2%, which was as expected, but it is an uptick relative to what it was last time. Amazon dumped yesterday after their earnings. Meta and Microsoft posted strong earnings. Those gains are now largely reversed, though, at this point in time, but tech is lagging. Nvidia's up, though. We like tech is mostly green in the morning, though. Microsoft green, Google is green, Apple is green, AMD is green. So most tech's actually green today. If we take a look at yields here, so here's the rate cut odds for September at this point in time. I think this is a very relevant thing. Almost 90% chance of a cut in September. Almost a 90% chance of a cut. Does anybody think a 1/4% cut will help anybody? Yeah, I mean, it's not going to do too much, but it's going to start bringing interest rates down. There's going to be a lag for it. It's going to be slow. Maybe they do 50. I don't know. 50 is not even an option at this point in time, but maybe they do. Let's take a look at yields. Let's see what yields are doing today. I think yields can help give us a little gauge on what's going on there. And again, I'm going to say it again. It's all good, guys. Like, just because I might agree with one thing the president does doesn't mean I agree with everything he does, and vice versa. You don't want to, with politics especially, you don't want to be like, oh, John agrees with one thing, he must support everybody, or John disagrees with one thing, he must hate everybody. That's not how it is. I'm very neutral with all this stuff. I think the president's made some bad decisions. I think he's made some good decisions. I think it's all somewhere in the middle. And I'm not really going to be super partisan with anything. I just don't see a need in it. And that's just not how I am as a person anyway. Anyways, looking at yields. Yields are down again today. If we take a look at a 5-year yield, or a 5-day trend, yields are down pretty significantly after Friday's payroll numbers. Friday's payroll numbers came in really weak. And it's not a shock to see yields dump all the way back down. They're at 4.22%. So yields are coming down. This is going to drag interest rates down in a lot of areas. You know, this is going to drag CD interest rates, bond interest rates down across a lot of different markets. And so yields are down pretty significantly, down to 4.22%. NASDAQ's starting to bounce, though. Look at this. So we are starting to get up there. I want to watch this 75 level. Well, the 10-year bond prices are going to increase. The yields are going to decrease, though. So this is when we say yields are up, we're talking about 10-year yields. So yields and interest rates follow each other to a certain extent, especially in terms of like mortgages and stuff like that. So if we have lower yields, it means we might get lower interest rates in mortgages and other stuff too. It's much more nuanced than that, but yields and interest rates follow each other. Now, if you look at bond prices, like something like TLT, which is 20+ year bonds, Bond prices are up a little bit short term, but yield prices honestly went up Friday too, though. If I take a look, they've been decreasing now. Overall, the trend in yields have been down, and the interest rate sentiment for September is higher. Tesla? Where's Tesla at? Tesla back up a little bit today. It's at 310s. Tyson Foods just dropped earnings. They posted 91-cent EPS versus 81 expected. Revenue of 13.88. Them gapping up a little bit. Beat on EPS and revenue for Tyson Foods. TSN just came out, and now it is gapping up some. What's up, Faye, Sam, Bias, Lee, Charlie, Austin, Chuck, Rob, Daddy, Todd, Alan, Dragos, Michelle, Ali, Austin, EGS, Chuck, Bender, Brian, Billy, Naps, Robert, Disciplined, Johnny, everybody else that I don't feel like scrolling back anymore for. China International Trade Negotiator met with Visa Global Executive today as well, I think. In terms of earnings, I don't think we have too many big ones this morning. Let me make sure. I mean, we got some big ones this evening. We got like Palantir. Oh, we had Berkshire Hathaway earnings this morning, man. 6 a.m. They posted a miss. So Berk missed 517. This is one of the big stories in stocks today. Berkshire missed. Berk is down a little bit on their earnings. Yeah, so Berkshire is down. They posted 517 EPS versus 524 expected. Revenue of 92.5 billion. So Berk is down. We had On Semi supposed to drop, BioNTech, TG Therapeutics, and more. But yeah. Look at gold. Gold's spiking up today too. Look at gold right here. Yeah, so Tyson Foods raised its earnings forecast after quarterly profit unexpectedly rose as a boom in chicken continues to offset losses in beef. All right, so yeah, Tesla's board has approved 96 million share stock award to Elon. That news came out about an hour ago. Yeah, so again, markets are mostly up. S&P 500 up almost 1%, NASDAQ up almost 1%, Dow up almost 1%. This follows Friday's sell-off from jobs, weak job data, revisions, dovish Fed now. Asian equities are up too. Meta and Microsoft dipped a little bit last week. If we take a look at like Meta, up big though today. Microsoft rebounding pretty big. Still down from earnings. You can see Microsoft earnings came out here. Went up a lot, decreased a lot. So Microsoft rebounded a lot following Wednesday's Fed meeting and everything, but dipped down. Meta's still up from its earnings. Apple still down from its earnings. Amazon, which is one of the biggest negative reactions from earnings, is still down pretty significantly. It was at 235s, 240s. It's at 217s right now on a percentage basis. It's what, like 8 or 9%. Yeah, so we're seeing essentially like a stabilization from last week's sell-offs. Markets are pricing in earlier, deeper cuts. All right, so yeah, Tesla's board approved a 96 million share grant valued at about 29 billion for Elon. This award aims to retain his leadership after a court voided his previous package. Tesla rose about 2 to 3% on the news. Yeah, so July deliveries of Tesla, going back to Tesla, July deliveries of China-made Model 3 and Y fell by 8.4% year over year, which reversed June's uptick. Analysts think this is from growing competition from Chinese players and brand backlash tied to Elon's political commentary. And microchips. Yeah, BioNTech posted earnings. Let's do a poll. Does the market close red or green this week? Let me know. So yeah, so a couple things going on right now. So the U.S. Commerce Department's Section 232 investigation into foreign-made semiconductor imports is set to conclude in roughly 2 weeks. It could pave the way for chips imported from Taiwan, China, and other major tech hubs, which would significantly raise costs for hardware and gaming segments. South Korea posts record chip export surge. So South Korea semiconductor exports hit 14.7 billion for July, which is a high, and it's up almost 32% year over year, driven by strong demand growth for AI products. Exports to Taiwan went up almost 70%. India semiconductor upswing. They're targeting 100 billion markets by 2030. Forecast to grow from 38 to 100 billion by 2030, supported by government incentives, partnerships, and infrastructure. All right, so look at this bounce right here. We have this level. We might start targeting it. And yeah, so Nvidia up this week. Going back into microchips, Nvidia is up as market rebound from Friday. Investors are waiting for earnings this week. AMD, Supermicro, Palantir. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten one fat. Pretty quick. Yeah, payouts from my experience with Top Step are pretty fast, especially in the new dashboard. Now the job market will also start cutting. Yeah, and so remember the earnings for this week. This evening we got Palantir, Hims, Axon, Vertex, and more. Tomorrow we have Pfizer, Caterpillar, Lemonade, BP. Yeah, we'll see what AMD earnings do later this week, right? AMD has earnings. Yeah, here's oil. Oil is dipping down. It's at $66 a share. AMD has earnings tomorrow evening. See what that looks like. Super Micro as well. Yeah, I mean, Top Step's really nice, man. They're a sponsor of mine, so I'm biased. But most, like, I would say they're the OG one, and they've also have some of the best rules and most reliability. Oil had OPEC increase output, yeah. Look at other news here, but I'm trying to fish around for what's going on outside of this in finance. Tyson Foods posted numbers. Kind of slow out there aside from that. It's a Friday. It's a Monday morning. Okay, so the president news. The president is going to announce the new Fed governor and BLS chief this week. He said he'll name a new Federal Reserve governor and Bureau of Labor Statistics chief within a few days. The Fed vacancy follows the unexpected resignation of Kugler, who leaves Friday to return to Georgetown. He said he has candidates in mind, aiming to appoint somebody aligned with his push for cuts. He also plans to replace BLS head Erica McIntarfer. Yeah. So. That's going on right now too. I don't know why they put Christmas music in here, man. It's kind of crazy. Let me change this Christmas. I don't know why they've thrown Christmas music in the mix here. Really don't. Alright. Yeah, now remember, August and September can be bad months for markets here. So we can't have kind of weak months for sure. And we'll see what happens, but we could have weak months here. Do you guys think August and September are going to be bad? Where did all my stuff go? Yeah, I mean, I think it could go either way, honestly. Okay, hold on. Let me exit out of this. This. Accidentally exited out of my. Oh, I see what happened. All right, I'm back. ADP job numbers. Dollar still down. Inflation rose last week. I mean, we have inflation. Don't get it twisted. Like, the PCE inflation came in higher than expected for core PCE year-over-year data, and an uptick in regular PCE inflation data as well. So, like, inflation data is somewhat elevated, right? And so it's not like it's still, you know, I still think we're probably going to cut in September, but you never know. Do you think an emergency cut is possible? No. I think the optics are bad for that. I don't think they're going to emergency cut. I think the optics are too bad. No. I think this data confirms that we got on the data that we got on Friday confirms to a certain extent what the president has been saying. Is it still an obvious thing? Not really. But it's somewhere in the middle, I think, still. But I do think it more so confirms. And I think that's just obviously true. You know, weaker labor market shows a little bit more of an argument for what he's saying. With that said, though, I think an emergency cut is not on the table right now. I think the optics for the Fed, that makes the Fed look bad if we emergency cut after they said the labor market's strong. And so regardless of whether we should or shouldn't, and I don't think we necessarily should, I think we should just wait until September. But regardless of whether we should or shouldn't, I don't think they're going to do that either way. Yeah, I mean, the range is small. You can see us reacting to a lot of these levels. We got the 200 exponential right at 2350. I might buy this dip up here if we can, chat. Let's see how this goes. We're gonna buy this down, buy this up. I have a tiny range here. Add a little bit more down here, kind of average in a little bit better. All right, we got 4 contracts. We're also right at this 50 level, right at the 200 exponential. Nice. Nice. Beautiful trade here so far. We got to bounce exactly where we wanted. I'm gonna just cut the rest up here. You love to see it. Very nice bounce trade there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I hope the new stats person can be trusted. But I feel like you have to look at it in terms of the president should not want a weak economic landscape, even if it justifies his push for rate cuts. He shouldn't want a weak economic landscape, even if it justifies his push for rate cuts. And so I don't necessarily think we have to worry about the new person, especially in the precedent of the last one getting laid off because of the wrong numbers. I don't think we have to worry as much about that person messing up the numbers, right? Like, I think this sets a precedent. Hey, you better get them right. And I'm not necessarily mad at that. I don't think we should be getting revisions this much. 260,000 revisions. I think that's off. And I'm not saying the president's right about his story about why they did it or whatever. I just think if we're getting that, if we're missing the numbers by that big of a margin, especially in a really kind of like important time to gauge the labor market, I think that's off. I said it on Friday, you know, I think that's off. Look at gold shoot up though. So one thing that we're seeing right now, if we take a look at like the VIX, we're seeing the VIX still around 20, hit almost 22s on Friday. We're seeing gold shoot up though early in pre-market. So I'm wondering if we're gonna see a turnaround. See if we can figure out what's going on with gold. And it's super nuanced, guys. Like, what you guys think the right decision is? Do you guys think, this is a good question. Do you guys agree with the decision to lay off the BLS chief? You guys think that's the right move? And if you do, let me know why. If you don't, let me know why. I'm not against you either way. I'm open to hearing both arguments. Yeah, so gold obviously went up after weak labor market. Tariff fears can be making gold rip. Yeah, the 10 years down, showing the yields are down, that is. Yeah, gold is really just rebounding from Friday's dip. Weak labor market. Citi increased its 3-month gold forecast at $3,500 an ounce, with a revised trading range of 3,300 to 3,600, citing economic slowdown. Yeah, I mean, you guys might be right about the messenger thing. I don't know. I think it's important to set a precedent, but I also think that sometimes it's not the person's fault, you know. It's somewhere in the middle, I think. But I'm okay with, I just want accurate numbers, regardless of what that means. So I'm okay with, you know, setting the precedent here so that hopefully we can get more accurate numbers and look deeper into why we consistently don't get accurate numbers. Part of it is just, like, revisions are normal, but these recent ones are way more than normal. Look at the NASDAQ turn here as well. So the NASDAQ's starting to break down. Gold's pushing up. We can figure out what's going on. Tesla get approved a 96 million share award for Musk. 2025 CEO interim award was approved Sunday after a special committee recommendation. Where's crypto this morning? Bitcoin's still at 115, down a little bit, but hey, good luck, Michael. Will Bitcoin get back above 115? I think it should, hopefully. Yeah, Snapchat earnings tomorrow. We got Palantir earnings this evening, so that's big. We're gonna take a look at Palantir here. Palantir up to 157.30s. A lot of stuff's going on in markets, man. The big news is the revisions last week. Obviously, the increased odds of September cut up to almost 90% now. This morning, the big news is the Elon pay package approval, 96 billion, or is it 96 million or billion? Let me see. So it was, I think it's billion with a B. Or no, 96 million share. Sorry, just to clarify, 96 million share. Yeah, I mean, in terms of like, look, these are big. Some critics are pointing to larger than normal revisions and suggest there might be an underlying issue, such as the decline in the quality of the data due to a combination of low response rates and complexity of measuring rapidly changing economic stuff with the tariffs, right? But like the BLS stuff, there's a lag to what they get. And so the initial reports tend to stay on the side of caution and stability with stuff, though. We're kind of up in the air, though. We'll see what the morning gives us. Gold is spiking up here, like gold. Look, gold broke recent highs again. Look right below me. Look at gold as we speak. It's spiking up. It's at 34.24s. Gold all-time highs are 3,500s. And I think one of the things that might propel gold higher is the obviously the labor revisions. I think that's bad and might make gold higher. The dollar index, if we take a look at it again, we got Palantir earnings we're going to be covering this evening. Dollar index slightly green on the day, but obviously it's down a pretty significant amount from Friday's report. Tariff news freaking people out as well, though. Again, the other big news today is tariffs. Of course, Friday was the deadline. It's now the 4th, and we are heading closer and closer to the new updated deadline, which, just to talk about it, is new tariffs 10 to 41%, 68 countries, Canada, India, Taiwan, South Korea, Brazil, South Africa. They take effect August 7th, which is Thursday this week, right? So we're heading into Thursday, which is the new tariff impact day, and we'll see what happens for that date. We also have another updated look on Thursday of the unemployment statistics, right, with jobless claims unemployment filings coming out Thursday. Aside from that, it's pretty weak in terms of economic reports. Like, we have factory orders at 10 today. Tomorrow we got trade deficit data and ISM services. And then Thursday we've got jobless claims, non-farm productivity, wholesale inventories, and more. Next week is incredibly important, though, because next week we have CPI, PPI. We have CPI, PPI, retail sales, consumer sentiment, and more. And then the following week after that, we have I think we have the Jackson Hole Symposium the week after. Yeah, so next week we've got CPI, PPI, retail sales. Bro, I hate how they did economic reports this week, dude. They put it all in one freaking week. I hope this is not a trend that they keep doing, dude. Like, they've kind of been consolidating all the economic reports to the last week of the month. I don't like that at all. Rip the band-aid off. Yeah. Bank of America Global Research reduces Moderna's price target to 24 from 25, reflecting slightly lower valuations. open up Discord here. Appreciate the follows on x.com. We got a lot of good growth there, honestly, man. We do. We grew by a bunch, and you love to see it. Feels good, man. Feels good. Like, is the Bank of Canada cutting today? Wait. When's the Bank of Canada's? On Semi just posted earnings here. They posted adjusted EPS of 53 cents versus estimated 53 cents. Revenue of 1.47 versus 1.45. If you take a look at On here, they're reacting negatively to this report. They are down to 52.50s. Lyft partners with Baidu to do autonomous drives across Europe. SOFR rate showed up way lower for August 1st versus July 31st at 4.34 versus 4.39%. Yeah, and again, treasuries are up. I don't know, I'm actually showing that there. 4.23%. Yeah, yield spiked. Actual prices. They're up, yields are down. I mean, yeah, so treasuries halted their rally. Traders brace for bond sales this week. This past week has been strong for the Dixie. It's best since October 2022, in fact. First half of this year, the index lost almost 11%, though. The worst first half return on record since the index was created in 1970 for the DXY, the dollar index. Alright, I'm catching back on chat. In my opinion, John, nothing's going to happen on Thursday regarding tariffs. It will be postponed for 30 to 90 days. I don't know, man. I don't think so. We'll see if the taco trade there in that situation works. You might be right. I don't know. Judging by historicals, I can't bet that you're necessarily wrong. But we'll see. I'd like to think we stick with some of them. You know, like, I understand pushing back. I understand pushing back China or like India even, but I think we got to stick with some of them. Vegas low international tourism signs. Yeah, so June visits dropped 11.3% year over year. Only about 3.1 million tourists, according to Las Vegas Convention and Visitor Authority. The first half of 2025 is down 7.3% relative to last year, totaling only 19 million. Look at the NASDAQ dump down here. Let's watch 21 threes. 21 threes. Occupancy rates in Vegas fell sharply from 85% in June to 78.7%. In June 24 to 78.7 in June 25, so from 85 down to about 79%. Average daily room rates fell about 6.6 to about $164 a night Harry Reid Airport traffic is down 6.3% this round. So most statistics are down about 5 to 10% for Vegas. Sometimes some are a little bit over that. Las Vegas tipped workers are reporting income drops of 50% or more due to fewer visitors. The number of workers dependent on its tips is around 180,000, almost 300,000 employed in hospitality overall. Travel Insider noted that luxury strip properties are still resilient, often operating at 90% plus occupancy, while downtown and off-strip areas have seen an uptick in visitors, which is 6%, probably just reflecting price worries. So people are blaming this on high pricing, rising resort fees, weak consumer confidence from economic pressure, inflation, geopolitical tensions, discouraging travel, international headwinds with Canada, Mexico, European stuff due to visa issues, economic caution, and policy. They expect a slower summer and potentially flat quarter 3 as convention and mid-market leisure travel remains pretty slow. Although MGM, Caesars, and more anticipate a recovery in quarter 3. So that's basically the Vegas numbers. Yeah, they're down some. They're down a little bit. We'll see what moves everything, but they're down some. And I love Vegas. I'm a big poker player. I love poker. So I don't know. There's a difference between online though. Like you can play poker online, but it's not. Like I think if you want to build skill, playing online is the right move. If you wanna make money, don't play online. I'm not saying you can't, but I would argue the variance is higher online. Although I'm sure a lot of people would argue it's lower because you can get in more hands and that curbs variance over time the longer you play, you know. But I think I don't know, maybe I'm just a natural skeptic. I just don't trust the software. I just don't trust the software. And I don't think it comes from them wanting you to giving you bad hands. I think it comes from super users more than anything. I think it comes from super users. And I think they play low stakes to try to like hide from it. But I think some people inside those companies can kind of see what's going on. So. Yeah, I'm sure tourism is down a little bit overall, probably. I think that makes sense. MicroStrategy reports purchase of 21,000 coins for $2.46 billion. They acquired another 21,000 Bitcoin between July 28th and August 3rd for an aggregate purchase price of almost $2.5 billion at an average price of 117.256 per coin. Also, GameStop just approved a stock buyback program funded by ETH yield proceeds. Or GameSquare, I'm sorry, GameSquare. Disney parks. Yeah, let's see where GameStop is right now here. Here's GameStop on the day. GameStop has been on this big downward trend. You know? It makes it hard to buy GameStop. I did get a Switch 2 from GameStop the other day, but honestly, I'm not really like, yeah, it's fun to play with my kids. But the games suck. Like, I might play the Zelda update, but like... Maybe I just need to wait for more games to come out. But like every time I'd go to a game store, I'd ask them, I'd be like, hey, y'all have a Switch 2? And they'd usually be like, no. But I went into a GameStop with my son and he asked, he was like, hey, do you have the Switch 2? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, all right, you know, $700 later for that freaking thing, man. Well, it was for the it was a mix of taxes. It was $500 per system plus taxes, plus I got the Mario Kart bundle, plus I bought Donkey Kong. You know. Plus I think yeah. What's up, Joker? That might be the only response you get today, bro. You should do jujitsu while you trade. I wouldn't even pay attention to my trades if I was doing it. All right, so Hassett is speaking right now. Hassett says the BLS data has become, quote, very unreliable, end quote. Do you guys agree? BLS data has become very unreliable. You guys agree with that? I think that's the big story of the day. Yeah, I've looked at Tesla before. Tesla up a little bit to 310s today. 309. Rebounding a little bit. Didn't really move from Friday's numbers, though, but it's back up some today. Probably, I guess, I don't know why. Elon's pay package confirms he might lead the company a little bit more. Maybe that's what's dragging Tesla up. You know. And maybe that's what this is. Again, in terms of 8:30 data here, I don't think we have anything today. We got factory orders going live at 10. French bond auctions, Mexico consumer confidence data. All right, so Hassett says BLS data have become very unreliable. We must get a fresh set of eyes on the BLS. Thought revisions last week was a typo, end quote. Hassett says we must modernize the labor data to be transparent. Again, I'm quoting, must modernize the labor data to be transparent. Must get a fresh set of eyes at BLS. Data's become unreliable. They're on a CNBC interview. But yeah, that's basically what's going on. Hassett speaking right now. We'll see if it moves markets. Market's honestly very flat. I've only taken one trade, very green trade. But we've only taken one this morning, just based off of the trends in this. It's just kind of boring. Again, MicroStrategy bought over 21,000 Bitcoin as of August 1st, total of 2.46 billion, average price of 117.25, roughly. Are we going to see FOMC Hassett? A lot of people speculating that Hassett's going to be turned into the FOMC chairman. The dissenters, I think, are who we might see. I think who we might see for the FOMC chairman, and I think, oh, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, so the potential nominees that we could see fill the FOMC chairman seat: Waller, Bowman. Again, they both dissented at the July FOMC, advocating for a 25 basis point interest rate cut. So I think we might see them, as well as potentially Hassett. Besant, maybe, as well. We'll see. Again, Kugler did step down here. So remember, Fed Reserve Governor Kugler, Adriana Kugler, stepped down. They announced Friday opening up a spot on the central bank's board. Kugler, who did not participate in the Fed's policy meeting earlier this week, would have completed her term in January. Instead, she will retire August 8th. She didn't provide a reason for stepping down. So... yeah, well, that's the world we're in straight, you know. There's a couple companies doing that. GameStop's buying Bitcoin too, right? So there's a lot of companies that buy Bitcoin and people invest in them basically as like another way to invest in Bitcoin to a certain extent. Kind of a hedge, I would say. All right, so the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, speaking of Bitcoin, is now the second best ETF in terms of monthly flows. Hassett did say some other quotes. He said data shows tariffs are being borne by foreign producers. Big revisions in data require transparent explanations. Again, they said that data was very unreliable and more. Again, most tech's green today, though, rebounding from Friday. A lot of stuff came down Friday, but Microsoft green, Apple green, Nvidia green, Tesla green, Google green, AMD's green. Again, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Netflix, slightly green. Palantir has earnings today. They're up pretty big too, up to 157s. What's their all-time highs? 161.80 all-time highs for Palantir. It's close enough to that number here. Look at us retest this 60 level. I don't know. I don't really know who that is. Magic lines. Magic legs. All right, so we are, honestly, we're very flat right now. You could argue maybe cup and handle, or yeah, you can argue maybe a cup and handle. What I see is just chop. We're down, up, down, up. This is the range. We're not really looking good in terms of direction here. It's kind of boring, in all honesty. Not really easy money. Is the music loud? Is it too loud? I can turn it down. Yeah. All right, guys. So NASDAQ is up. We're going to try to trade some of this here, but we're pushing. We're very, very sideways. Again, Palantir earnings are big. It's something that we got to look at today for sure. Market's a little slow right now, though. It's not really I mean, I'm drinking coffee. Yeah, we'll see if the market survives. Dead cat bounce. Do y'all think this is a dead cat bounce? I mean, we're up a lot in everything. Tech's up. Gold's even increased higher. I'm looking at gold to see if it breaks all-time highs. And sorry, I'm quiet because I'm checking any updates and news. So, Wedbush says Musk's new pay deal lifts uncertainty. Tesla's new stock award for Musk removes a key overhang and ensures leadership stability. Yeah, which was what I said. Kind of maybe some meaning that Elon's going to stay on as leader for longer than expected. Hassett also said that we're highly optimistic about the economic future. Job numbers were slower than we expected. Revisions give better read of data if not manipulated. Revisions give, yeah. You guys agree with him? Top Fest. Hey, thank you. Number 1 on chat. Yeah, the top fans today. Austin, number 1. Charlie X, number 2. Pawn, number 3. Pizza, number 4. Yowzer, number 5. BK, number 6. Whomever that is, number 7. D, number 7. Mark, number 8. Fender, number 9. Todd, number 10. Ray, number 11. So. Open Door, OPE, and where's Figma this morning? How's Fig running? Figma IPO'd last week. It's down to 116s. Got up to 150s though. So Figma pulling back pretty significantly here after running up to almost 150s. I don't expect it to hold all of its gains. It's a recent IPO. So. Last Friday's job numbers were the most believable we've seen in months. Yeah, I mean, they were weak, man. They were weak. Yeah, I played Red Dead Redemption for a while with my friends. We got bored of it after a while. It's fun. I'm not a big story game person. The only stories I'm willing to play are like, I'll play like a Zelda story, and I played a little bit of Red Dead Redemption story. I just got tired. I got bored of it, to be honest. Like, and I played it with my friends a lot, but again, it got kind of boring. All right, guys. So again, give me a follow at Beginner Trades on X.com at Beginner Trades. We post all the breaking news here. Again, in terms of earnings today, Berk missed by a small margin, and Berk is still down from it. So Berk missed. If you look at Berkshire Hathaway here, and some people were saying Berk was in trouble because of Buffett stepping down, and maybe they're right. I don't know. All right, so Hassett says everybody should bank on tariffs being resolved. He's compiling a short list for BLS replacement. We can't have partisan patterns and massive revisions, is what he's saying. All right, so on Semi posted, they missed EPS, beat revenue. So kind of neutral numbers here. Wayfair beat EPS, beat revenue. BNTX, which is BioNTech, missed EPS, missed revenue as well. TGTX, which is TG Therapeutics, they beat EPS, missed EPS, beat revenue. Tyson Foods is up though, I think. Or no, I think Tyson's actually down. But look at Berk right here. Berk has been on a negative trend. Tyson Foods is actually up. One of the things that jobs report said is employment went way up and immigrants employment went way down. Powell's waiting on the data and the data is wrong. What are we doing here? Hassett's just going to mirror what the president wants, right? Like, this is, you got to understand partisan politics. And again, I get a lot of people that root for both sides, and I get it. I'm not against you. I'm not with you either. I'm very neutral on all this stuff. But if you look at who speaks, right? Bowman is going to mirror what the president wants. Hassett is going to mirror what the president wants. Bassett is going to mirror what the president wants, right? And there's more sorry. Waller is going to mirror what the president wants, right? So there's certain people that are just going to basically be an extension of the president, and that currently is Hassett, who's his economic advisor, so of course he's going to mirror the president. Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, going to be loyal to the president. Bowman and Waller, who are the dissenters in the FOMC Wednesday, they're going to mirror the president as well. And you know, you just got to expect it. It's not really a shock. So if Bessent starts speaking, he's going to mirror what the president wants. And again, I'm not even saying that's wrong. I mean, this is what happens on both sides. Okay, it's not like I'm criticizing this. It's just kind of what happens. Once you understand it, you know, gold started to come back down. So gold's now technically red on the day. It's at 34.15. Nasdaq's pushing up a little bit. Let's see if the VIX is going higher here, or VIX is going lower. I mean, yeah, VIX is starting to head down too. Gapping down with everything mostly up. But gold now technically red on the day. And the Nasdaq is coming back up some. Let's see if there's any news to justify it. All right, around a dozen issuers are anticipated to tap the U.S. high-grade primary market today, according to Bloomberg. That might be influencing things. It is wrong if they are lying. Well, lying, it's subjective. Not lying is subjective. What they're saying is subjective, meaning opinionated, right? Like you have objective, which is factual, and then you have subjective, which is opinionated. Most of what they say is subjective, right? It's like, oh, I think the economy is going to be good. Well, you can't really say they're wrong because they're saying, I think, you know. I could say, I think I'm going to win the lottery tomorrow. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Just what I think, you know. And so a lot of times both sides of the political spectrum will phrase things with that lens. And so it's all good. I'm not even mad at them for it. It's politics. And so, of course, they're saying, hey, I'm optimistic about the economy. We want this. We want that. They're just going to mirror what the president wants. And that's okay. That's all right. That's how it goes. Yeah, look at Burke. Like, Burke is down. And again, I don't think this is necessarily from Buffett, man. Like, people can argue it is. Maybe so. I don't know. I don't necessarily think. I think Buffett's 90-something years old. He hasn't been running things at Burke, regardless of what they say. You know, they're going to try to, like, taper the Buffett expectation, if that makes sense. What I mean by that is that they're going to slowly give him less and less influence in the public's mind, even though he probably hasn't made any significant decisions regarding Berkshire Hathaway, I would argue, for at least 5 years. Nobody's going to let a 90-year-old make the big decisions in a company. It doesn't matter how sharp he is. And when he speaks, he sounds sharper than a lot of 90-something-year-olds. But still not sharp enough to run a Fortune 500 company. So. Yeah, sorry, y'all are right. Pass to pass. Yeah, sorry. All right, guys. So we got a couple minutes left until earnings. I'm actually getting a short. We'll try it here. We'll take it small. Maybe add a little bit to this. We can use 75 as like a level here too. Try to add some to it. We added a little bit too large of size here. $75 might be a level here. I'm kind of watching 75 to see if it rejects. If not, I'll cut half of this off. Try to cut a piece of this here if I can. There we go. Got out pretty small there, so it's not the biggest. I don't want to take too large of size. This is gonna be a longer term trade, so I want to see if I can hold this. Not an investment professional though, guys. I'm not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. Check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. No PDT rule on futures. You can day trade the S&P, Nasdaq, Dow, Russell, gold, some currencies. This is a 50K funded account, 90% split. No PDT in futures. I could day trade the S&P, Nasdaq, Dow, Russell, gold, some currencies. Very similar to day trading stocks. Less restrictions here. And some of the best rules in the game. A beautiful way to just learn how to day trade when most day traders lose money. Right? Most day traders are going to lose. If you fund $5, $10, $15, $20,000 into your own account, let's just be real, you're probably going to lose. Instead, you could try Top Step. I didn't want to cut it like that. Instead, you could try Top Step. Your base one's $50 a month. If you fail, it's not the end of the world. If you pass it, you get a nice funded account, 90% split, all that good stuff. All right, so we added, and now we're going to take some off here. But a beautiful way to learn, and most day traders lose money, and they've paid out hundreds of millions. They fund thousands. Really is just a good way to learn how to day trade when most day traders lose. We are getting a spike here, though, so let's figure out what we want to do. We are seeing gold break down and strength overall in the Nasdaq here. Yeah, I gotta cut that. I think we're just pushing up too much. We'll give it another second, but I'll put the link up. Great way to help support the channel. Again, get you around the PDT rule ultimately allows you to risk less when you're learning how to day trade. You can check out the link right here. They're a sponsor of mine, though. I'm biased. I get paid by them, so. $50-50 split on the poll again. Yeah. I mean, I think bulls or bears are pretty split down the middle, too. Oh, I'm the most biased. I'm trying to see what's pushing the market higher. I'm looking for market news to cover. All right, Swiss government says we're not considering any countermeasures against the U.S. at this point. Swiss government strives to diversify trade relations, and the trade surplus with the U.S. is not a result of unfair trade practices, according to them. We're ready to continue talks with the U.S. beyond August 7th, and we're determined to make a more attractive offer to the U.S. Maybe optimism for trade. Yeah, we had Berk miss EPS margins by a pretty big number. 517 EPS versus 524 expected revenue. I have to go find what Berk's revenue was. Berkshire Hathaway, again, sales 92.5, beat the 90.5. So good revenue, bad sales numbers for Berk is what I'm showing. Yes, we had Berk, we had On Semi, we got Palantir earnings this evening. So Palantir earnings are actually pretty significant here. We'll see what that looks like. I might actually short this if we break significantly under 75. Right. We're gonna keep just 2 contracts here. I'm not gonna add to it. Gold's still technically red on the day, though. Yeah, I think Swiss and us are going to get a deal done. We'll see. Again, very choppy morning in terms of the NASDAQ, S&P. Even gold. Gold was ripping up this morning. It kind of since turned all the way back down. Now technically red. We're just attacking some chop here, but going back and forth. A lot of indecision here, especially like next week we have CPI and PPI data. This week we have some stuff going on too, but the trade deadline is going to be August 7th, which is Thursday. So for a lot of different countries. So a lot of people are going to be paying attention to Thursday this week as well. You don't want to see a Rolex with a Swiss movement, though? Aren't all Rolexes Swiss movements? They Geneva? Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We'll see what kind of reports we get today. We are shorting right now, and it's kind of breaking down here. I'm going to try to let this work a little bit longer, though. We'll see if it continues. Again, there we go. We added a little bit more now that we're deeper into the profit. Start locking a piece of this out here. Alright, got one left. We'll let the rest ride. Add a little bit back here. I'd like to see 61s down here around the 200 exponential, to be honest. But we're green on the day, so we could also hold it break even or so, but Yeah, I believe that. But if you could hold 3 AI stocks next 3 years, what would it be besides Nvidia and Microsoft? Google, Meta, AMD. Again, not an investment professional. I have no idea what's going to happen with any of those. I just think those are the small ones are too speculative and can pull back big, but they can make big gains. So it depends on your risk tolerance. It really does. Everybody's different in that context. Like some people are okay with gambling on smaller companies to make bigger gains. I'd rather more consistent, safe gains. And I think Google, Meta, AMD are probably the ones I would choose. But what do you guys think? I'm going to cut it down here if I can get out. There we go. Yeah. We won it down here and we got it, basically. So not a bad little trade. Tesla, Meta, Google. Yeah, I feel you. All right, guys. We got 45 minutes left until the market opens. We'll see what we get. We've been trading. This trade was mostly brought to you by my algorithm. Look at that trade. Broke down some. Took me a little while. If I didn't get faked out on the first run up, I probably could have made some more money. And so I do think I need to set a little bit farther risk. Meta has the Llama AI system and they're building super intelligence. So I think that's going to be good. Google obviously is freaking Google. And then AMD mirrors Nvidia to a certain extent in terms of microchip production. It's a little bit lagging behind it, of course, but I think it's going to benefit from the AI wave as well. So that's why I picked those three. Again, I'm not an investment professional. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. Don't copy me. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Gold's back and forth. It went red on the day. It's now green on the day, rebounding with a little bit of this market fearfulness. You can see the VIX opening up lower, but still elevated at 20 for the VIX. The volatility is still a little high for markets. We said no Nvidia. He said no Nvidia. If you couldn't invest in Nvidia or what was the other one? Besides Nvidia and Microsoft. Looks like I got out right around the right time. All right, so the CFTC launches a new Spirit initiative to advance the president's Bitcoin and crypto map. A little slow morning, though. A lot of people are still kind of recovering from the payroll slump on Friday. Bitcoin's still under 115s, too. Willie Nelson's not doing that great. His daughter, Paula Nelson, just announced urgent news to her followers that her father maybe isn't doing that good. I don't know. Yeah, Hims and Palantir report at the closing bell today. So we'll see what happens. XRP, I don't know. I like XRP long term, short term. I have no idea what it's gonna do. Houston Astros accused Red Sox of stealing signs, clearing bench. Oh, the tables turned. Everybody got mad at the Astros and wanted to hate on the Astros, but bro, the Yankees been doing it. Everybody's been doing it, man. Everybody wants to hate on the Astros just because they're good, you know? And they have been good. Yeah, I tend to like Solana. All right, guys, stick around. We are going to be day trading live into the opening bell. And market moves a little slow today. Gold spike it up. VIX is still elevated, but down on the day. Most microchips are green. We got Nvidia, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft, Google, all green on the day. We got Palantir earnings to close the day off at 4 p.m. today. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But Palantir earnings close the day off at 4:05 p.m. We'll see what that looks like. Expected at 14 cents a share profit on 938 million. The problem with Palantir is the PE ratio is freaking ridiculous. It's like 600 or something like that, isn't it still? Yeah, I'll watch John Boy too. Yeah, we're gonna stream Palantir and Hims and all the other earnings streams today. We'll stream it. Ugh. How flat the market is though, man. Gold's back up to almost the highs of the day. The highs of the day on gold are 34.25, so we are edging closer and closer to that. We'll see if we hold. Can you hear the music? Somebody said they couldn't hear it earlier, or that it was too loud, and so I turned it down a little bit, but let me know. Yeah. I'm gonna short Palantir. I'm not gonna short it. I don't short anything like that. I like Palantir as a company. Just the PE ratio. I just hope their earnings catch up to the PE. I think most people that invest in Palantir are betting that the earnings, the EPS margins catch up with the PE ratio. Because at this point in time, it has like a 600x PE. Palantir's PE ratio is currently 670. Forward PE is about 277. So most people do think it's going to catch up. But still high. It's still flushing down here. Let's watch the 61 level on the NQ. It could move things. News is still light. Goldfields limited prelim half one EPS 109 to 121. Previous was 36 cents, and gold production increased 908,000 year over year. That came in at 1.1 million ounces. All right, so NASDAQ just got a pop up here. Let's see if this is news related. It could be. Hold on, let's check. Freeport LNG export plant in Texas is back in service. What's with this big pop in markets? Let's take a look at stocks to see if it's driven. Nvidia's up. Nvidia spike here, but it's not big of a spike to make that move. Hold on, let's see Meta. Oh. Apple. I don't know why that we spiked like we just did. It's just a normal rebound. I don't know. Big liquidity grab rejection though. Got up to almost 23.1 right here, which is the next level over 75 that I'm looking at. Weird fill? Yeah, it's possible. Just a rogue order. Yeah, it could just be a random fill. Yeah, we're right at the 9 a.m. level here, so we got 30 minutes into the opening bell. We'll see what we get. We're going to be day trading live, of course, but it is giving some strength to the NASDAQ, which has been overwhelmingly sideways this morning. Still rejecting at that 75 level, though. Let's see if it holds. Gold's still increasing here. Again, I'm going to put it in like Nvidia up. Watch what it does. Even Nvidia is kind of boring. Small range and slow price action today. Maybe just a hangover from last week's really busy week. It was kind of chaotic last week. I tend to like Adobe stock if they continue to use AI. I still think there's going to be a net negative effect to Adobe though versus what we might have seen something like 5 years ago. And I think most people expect this. If you look at Adobe, Adobe's been downtrending since 2023. Right, if on like a weekly chart, if you take a look at Adobe, it's downtrending for years. And I think this is essentially, like, to understand the nuance of this, right? This is mostly from AI, right? Because you got to think, PowerPoint, you know, all these different services that Adobe offers, a lot of them, even if they adopt AI, is going to be replaced to a certain extent by AI systems. And so when did AI get really big? 2022, really. And so since right around that part, 2023, when AI really started to take off, Adobe's been essentially downtrending. People recognize pretty quickly how powerful AI systems are going to be, and that it's going to replace a lot of Adobe. People are still going to need it. But I think what people are looking at now regarding Adobe is that they're speculating that if AI is already doing some of this stuff, and you have to take the context of AI is only going to get better and better and better and better, you have to take that into context, right? And I think if that does happen, which I think is pretty freaking likely, eventually AI is going to be able to edit videos in a more profound way. It already can, but it's going to get better and better and better. That's number one. So people are going to need like Adobe Power. They're going to need Premiere Pro less. They're going to need PowerPoint less. They're going to need not PowerPoint. They're going to need Premiere Pro less. They're going to need what's the editor? What's the Adobe editor? I can't think of it. I'm just drawing a blank right now. I know this, but I'm drawing a blank right now. They're going to need to edit videos, thumbnails less because AI eventually is going to very clearly be able to do it. And so because of that, Adobe's been downtrending. And so while I like Adobe as a company, I think there's risks long term to it just because of the nature of AI. Photoshop, what I'm thinking of. Photoshop is what I'm thinking of. Photoshop is going to be needed less and less. Yeah, Illustrator, Photoshop, Premiere, whatever you want to look at. All of those things are going to be, business is going to be taken away from AI. Because of AI, I should, a little cleaner way to state it. I disagree, Tony. I think Netflix is getting into live sports. People might generate their own movies, but it's not going to, they're still going to be, I don't see that as a big risk as much as people think. Like I see people say, oh, well, AI is going to be able to create their own movies and systems. And that might be true. And I think they're going to get better and better with it. But I still think the keeper of some of the best, I think we're going to see more volume from those systems. Like think about it like this, right? If you're in charge of making movies or shows or TV shows, and a system comes out that makes creating your own movies and TV shows much easier, what are those companies going to do? Number one, Netflix is pivoting to live sports, right? Which I think is the right move for them. But number two is you're just going to produce higher quality things than everybody else. You're going to use AI for that way, and it's going to allow you to have an exponential growth and volume of the things you produce. And so I think that's something that we're going to see is like, yeah, you'll be able to make your own from home. But I think Netflix and Amazon and all those big boys in streaming, most of them at least, are going to get involved with just producing at a much greater output. And I think that's going to benefit them as well. All right, so I think it's kind of a scratch there. It's kind of neutral, I would say. Yeah, 5 to 10 years, sure. I agree. But again, I think it's going to be that dynamic I just spoke about versus those companies going out of business. I don't think that's very plausible. Or that probable, I should say. But we're up to 2381s. So we are starting to test these highs up here. If the market continues back up. All right, so according to Piper Sandler, they said the Tesla autopilot case is overblown and that there's no major impact. They downplayed the recent autopilot-related jury verdict in Florida, saying the case is less serious than headline suggests. Bitcoin mining difficulty just hit a new all-time high. Yeah, no, I know one of the industries that's getting a big takeoff is writers, right? So people are using AI to self-publish. 100% they're using AI to self-publish, right? So something that you see is like Kindle writers, they're basically publishing all these different books that are mostly written by AI, and then they're charging, what, like 50 cents a dollar for each of them, you know, and then they're sending them out on Amazon and Kindle and all that stuff, and people are reading them, and they're getting paid for AI content, and that industry is taking off faster and faster now because of AI systems as well. So interesting. Trying to figure out why gold spiked around 7 a.m. Yeah, I see that right here. Probably just the morning volume picking it up, potentially. Just like kind of the opening of traders. All right, so NASDAQ just broke highs of the day for a split second like 5 minutes ago. It's now testing that high level here. Is it the high of the day? I think it is. What did I do here? I think I dragged this up accident. Yeah, it's the high of the day. We're right around highs of the day now. A little bit of a rebound from the slump we saw from payrolls on Friday. All right, so the president did just post it on social media as well here. He said, quote, last week's job report was rigged just like the number prior to the election were. That's why in both cases there were massive record-setting revisions in favor. Those big adjustments were made to cover up other stuff. I will pick an exceptional replacement. Thank you for your attention. Again, I'm not saying I agree with this, just to clarify. I'm just covering the news that might move markets, and the president has been moving markets lately. So we got to cover that just because of, you know, I'm not very partisan on either side. Yeah. Very interesting day. Let me know what you guys think. Looking at our poll numbers, we're pretty split down the middle. I'm going to end this poll, and we're going to do another poll. Are you bullish or bearish for today's market open? Vote on the poll. Are you bullish or bearish for today's market open? Let me know what you guys think. There's that poll live. All right. Looking at our poll numbers, 67% are bullish, 33% are bearish. I suspect Bitcoin to 113,000 again, and then a bull run, maybe. If this data continues to be untrustworthy, foreign investors will pull out of U.S. markets. Yeah. All right, guys, we got 20 minutes into the market open, so let's see what we get. I'm ready for the market today. I'm excited. We're slightly green on the day. We've had a couple red trades, a couple green trades. Yeah, like I'm seeing all this stuff about the Coldplay concert, and the way I look at it, bro, is like Dude, if y'all are being sketchy, you can't get mad at Coldplay just for showing like images of people. Like, if you're the leader of a billion-dollar company and you're not smart enough to recognize that if you're in good seats, they might point the camera at you, don't go to the freaking concert. You can't blame Coldplay and everybody else or whomever else you want to freaking throw the shade at. But honestly, they deserve it. Anybody that says anything besides they deserve it, y'all are sketchy. You know, that's all I'm saying. Right, and I saw some other stuff like, bro, just act normal. Nobody would ever see you, you know? The world certainly wouldn't. Just act normal. Where do you get these levels? These are all levels that I've drew. Like, I drew all these levels not today, just to clarify. I think I might have drawn one of these today, but all of these levels I did not draw today. And so, these levels come from right here. I've explained how I get them a lot, but they're not auto-populated levels. These are levels, mix of confirmed supported resistance, psychological, and milestone levels is all they are. Again, confirmed support and resistance, psychological, and milestone levels. Yeah. Whole number, 64% are bullish for the opening bell. Yeah, Microsoft at 528s. Still creeping higher here. Let's watch 23.1. So we got 23,000 below us too. I think those are all pretty big, significant like levels to pay attention to. But yeah, we're watching them. Yeah, the American Eagle drama. Like, dude, what are people even mad about these days, bro? Like, why? Like, number one, American Eagle, I didn't even know they were relevant anymore. Like, just to put this into perspective, I grew up in the early 2000s when American Eagle was like the clothing brand. Like, everybody wanted American, and American Eagle was kind of like a notch down from like Abercrombie or like Polo, but still people bought them a lot. I had a bunch of Polo shirts with an eagle on them. Problem is that I didn't even know. Hold on, wait. Are they even public anymore? I thought they were AE. Hold on. What's the symbol? Are they now penny stocks? AEO. Outfitters. But this whole thing, like, people are mad for what? Because a jeans company said a girl has nice jeans because she's wearing their jeans? What are people upset about? People are just trying to find a reason to be upset, man. And with that said, I don't like American Eagle stock at all. I think, I mean, unless they're bigger than I, being old and not cool, understand. I don't know what the fuss is about. Who cares what color her eyes and hair are? You know? Why is that relevant in a jeans thing? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not getting to it. It's too political. Maybe I shouldn't even said anything. But again, the president's supposed to announce a new Fed governor and BLS chief this week. We'll see what happens. Job report last Friday was terrible. Revised 260,000 jobs down, basically, approximately. I think it was like 258, but it was bad. Made September rate cut odds increase. Look at gold consistently going up. Gold just broke highs of the day. Yeah, I think American Eagle's actually down since their earnings report came out way back here. Yeah, they're down. And they're up today, but they're down overall over the last like week and a half. Yeah, I mean, the daily on American Eagle. Yeah, I mean, again, this American Eagle is like Hollister or Abercrombie and Fitch, right? Do people still shop at the? Again, I'm gonna preface this with I am not cool anymore. I don't know if I ever was. Is American Eagle and Hollister and Abercrombie, are they still widely purchased? Is that what young people wear now? Look at gold spike though, guys. Look at gold spike. Gold's following the market to a certain extent. The VIX is probably heading down, right? Although it's still elevated. Yeah, VIX is under 19s now. Gold spiking up to 1428. NASDAQ up around all-time, or not all-time highs. Highs of the day. All-time highs are way up here, but... Yeah, I mean, I think people are trying to essentially just wear the 90s and early 2000s style. And as somebody that grew up in the 90s and 2000s, I'm offended by this. You know? Like, Jinkos are now cool. I just think it's funny, the style and predictability of it. You know? Let's say this is a pair of jeans. Right now, these are the jeans that are cool. You know what I mean? Like, let's call ridiculous looking clothing ridiculous now. You know what I mean? The only people really driving these trends are like high schoolers who are desperate to be cool. You know? And again, listen. When I was in 5th grade, 6th grade, middle school, I wore baggy Jinkos just like this. You know? Mine had an alien on them. I had a wallet chain. I had some Airwalks. I get this style. Like, this is what I grew up with. But I can't justify doing it again. I just can't. I'm not about to put some super baggy jeans on and look ridiculous just so people can make fun of me in 5 years when the style is skinny jeans again. I'm just not doing it. I grew up in the 90s and 2000s. Of course, everybody that grew up there, for the most part, wore Jinkos. You know? There was like a 3 or 4 year period where people, like, Jinkos, you know, Free Dress Friday, people wearing Jinkos. Yeah, I still wear ankle socks, and I know that I get like judgment for that, and I don't care, you know. All right, NASDAQ testing highs of the day. I'm watching 23 ones. 23 ones. Do I still have a pair? No. It wouldn't fit me if I did. You know? I don't wear Crocs at all. I refuse to wear Crocs. I refuse. I'm not going to wear the Idiocracy shoe. Not. All right, so Goldman Sachs says the president's firing of the Bureau of Labor Statistics head is seen as a negative for the dollar. Taking a look at the dollar, though. It is red on the day now. The dollar extended the losses as markets increased expected September rate cut and grow wary of U.S. data reliability. Goldman Sachs says the president's move to replace the chief could hurt confidence in policy, prompting investors to rethink safe haven strategies. Goldman expects the dollar to weaken further, especially against the Japanese yen. Do you guys agree with this? This is Goldman Sachs apparently saying this. Yeah, listen, I'm in my 30s. I can't comfortably wear Crocs. Okay, especially not in public. Maybe if I'm going outside to check on Carol's plants, make sure she's not flooding my yard again, I might throw some Crocs on just to protect my feet, because we've got like pointy rocks in my yard. Outside of that specific incident, or outside of that specific thing, I'm not wearing a pair of Crocs in public. I just can't do it. I can't wear the slides either, you know, like the Yeezy slides or you know, those future shoes. I can't wear those either comfortably. I don't even know if those are cool anymore either. Again, I'm old, guys. I'm not wearing any of that stuff. I wear a mix of Hey Dudes pretty regularly just because they're comfortable, and I don't want to tie a shoe. So if I could slide it on, that's what I want, but I refuse to wear Crocs. Oh, I do own some Crocs. All right, guys, gold's still spiking up at 34.30s right now. NASDAQ is right around the highs of the day, although it's been pretty choppy all morning. Dollar index is slightly red on the day. The VIX is decreasing, but still elevated around 20. I'm not mad at Converse. I wear Converse often. John is a dinosaur, some say. Are you using just for men yet? No. And again, I think in my side of the family, my dad's side specifically, we don't gray very early. Like my dad still has, my dad's in his 70s and his hair is still half brown. You know, and he's still got a full head of hair too. So I'm glad I don't have the balding side either. But I have no gray that I can see in my hair yet. So I'm hoping I just got my dad's hair genes where I'm just going to keep my hair and not go gray for a long time. All right, guys, we got 7 minutes left. You guys red or green on the day? Let me know in chat right now. I know they say it comes from your mother's father, but I think that's total nonsense. I really do. My mom's dad was bald at 25. You know, I've got a full head of hair and it's thick too. Like I have a lot of hair, too much hair almost. And I have my dad's hair. My hair looks exactly like my dad's. Same consistency. It's curly. It looks exactly like my dad's hair. And so I know they say it comes from your mom's dad, but I don't necessarily think that's true. And I think studies have been shown that that might not be true as well. Down 290 right now. Hey, good luck. Yeah, but the real question is, even if she meant GENES, are we not allowed to say that a person who is conventionally seen as attractive has good genes? Is that wrong? Like, again, maybe I'm old. I don't know. I'm neutral politically. I really am. I'm very socially liberal in a lot of ways, believe it or not. But I think we have to be reasonable about that type of stuff and not just look for reasons to be upset as well, though. 5 minutes left until the opening bell, guys. We'll see what we get. I'm not really whining anyway. I don't think American Eagle's going to succeed as a company regardless, unless it's somehow got more sales over the last few years. You know. Palantir up to 158.20s. It's moving up. It got earnings. It has earnings today. Expectations for its earnings today. The problem is the super low EPS. It's 14-cent EPS a share on 938 million in revenue. That's a very low EPS margin relative to what they're currently priced at for a lot of people. The PE ratio is currently like 690 or 680 right now. Nvidia taking a turn to the downside here right before the opening bell. Let's pivot more to stocks and finance. We're getting too involved with other stuff. Again, I don't think American Eagle is going to succeed as a company anyway, so I don't think it matters regardless, you know. Yeah, I'm just going to move on from this conversation. Again, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with anything. I'm neutral on all of it. I don't care about any of this stuff. None of that matters. I think American Eagle's going to fail anyway. Not saying I want or don't want them to fail. I just think their day is done, most likely. All right, we got 2.5 minutes left. Nvidia turning down, though. Look at this, right before the opening bell. I'm wondering if there's a reason for it. All right, we had an article that just came out. See if there's another reason for Nvidia falling down. EU is going to suspend trade countermeasures on the US by 6 months. That news just released. I feel like I'm too old to comment too. Get off my lawn, guys. Okay. We got a minute and a half left. Let's see what happens. Apple pushing up. Nvidia going down. Nasdaq's testing highs of the day, though, and I'm looking at this 23,001 level. Apple just went up. Look at Apple. Broke highs of the day. Pulled back a little bit afterwards, but it's still up. All right, testing highs of the day. If I had a kitchen like that, I would stream from it too. It's a nice library in the kitchen, huh? I know you're joking, but still. Top 3 greatest kitchens of all time. 20 seconds left until the opening bell. We'll see what we get. Yeah, Figma pulled back a lot. Hit 150s or 60s. Last week it's now down to like, what, 110s now? $114. All right, NASDAQ broke highs of the day right before the opening bell. Let's see what we get. There's the bell. All right, guys, let's see what we get. All right, NASDAQ ripping up right through 23.1s here. SPY heading up. NVIDIA rebounding at the opening bell too. Palantir flying up. It's at 160 right now. Hit 160. Microsoft ripped up to 530s. Apple over 204s. NVIDIA's starting to turn though. Look at this. Yeah, I gotta wait. This is too volatile for the open for me. Strong open. Apple broke highs again. All right, guys. Microsoft turning up to 532s. The imbalance showed up at 232 million on the S&P. NASDAQ showed a negative 1.1 million. Dow 53 million positive. Mag 7.2 million positive. NVIDIA turning down though. It's at 170. 74.60. Gold just broke highs of the day again. SPY still heading up. Is Fig heading up? Fig's going down. It's at 113 since the opening bell. So it's still red from the open and red on the day. It's at 112s now. Microsoft is kind of what's driving some of this move here. Here's Microsoft. Up to 532s. NVIDIA down. Amazon down. Apple green. Microsoft green. See if we can buy 23.1 here as long as enough time passes. But we're gonna wait and give it a little second here. Hold on. Let me. Again, we're about 3 minutes into the day. I kind of need to wait. I would buy 23.1s right here, but it's a little too early for me to trade. There's too much volatility right now. I need to let it settle some first. NVIDIA bounce though. All right, we're 3.5 minutes into the day. NASDAQ's testing highs again. Look at Apple and Microsoft. Just broke highs of the day again here. Next level I have is 23, 125 or 130 here. Maybe I could short this, but there's risks. Dude, I wanted to short it. I didn't quite catch it. Now there's a risk of it running higher. Let's give it a second. Getting bought up here, but flat. All right, we're out. Small little scalp. I gotta let it settle first. Like I wanted to scalp my level here, and it followed it, but look at that level. Nvidia rebounding. Apple and Microsoft still look okay. Got over 130. 150 is the next one, but pretty strong since the opening bell. I think maybe it has to do with rate cut odds, as well as maybe just potential extension on the downside. Boeing shares are down 1% after more than 3,000 fighter jets. Workers go on strike. Look at the NASDAQ still pop. We're looking at 150 here. I'll short it if we catch it. It's close enough. I'm gonna cut a lot of this flat right here and just hold on to the rest just to protect. Took too long to kind of test the level. We're out. Too strong. Apple just testing highs of the day again. I don't know what 67 is up there, but maybe we could play that one. Yeah, when the momentum's really strong, the levels don't matter. Nvidia breaking highs again up to 176. Apple breaking highs again. Microsoft breaking highs again. Retracement. This looks like it's going to slow down, but you never know. We'll try to take some risk. Maybe I'm just attacking the wrong direction today. Problem is Apple got back over that level again. If I cut this, it's just too risky. Microsoft and Apple are pulling back some now, though. Do they hold? Nvidia is still ramping higher, though. Nvidia's almost up to 177s. Big movements here for Nvidia. Oh. I don't know what level I have on my chart here, but we're looking at it. Might short this again, but risky. Let's try. We got one up there, but it's very small. Let's see if we can add a little bit to this. Two. Gotta hold it break even if it starts to push up. But... Right, we took half off there just to lock profit in. We can get a pullback now. Problem is Nvidia keeps running up. Everything else is kind of dipping down here, but Nvidia is not. Look at Microsoft. There we go. All right, we're out. Green on the day, but 67 level held. It just, you can try to buy 150 here, but I'm too worried about a correction here. Yeah, look at where we bounce, man. See, I gotta start targeting my levels, even if it's just for small scalps. Like, look. Psychological level there. Palantir pulling back is now under 160s. And again, if you haven't already, check out TopStat, man. There's no PDT rule in futures, so it gets you around the PDT rule. Instead of, even if they do reduce the PDT rule to 2K, you get started for $50 a month on TopStat. If you pass the test, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K, and then 90% split afterwards. It's very similar to funding your own account. If you fail, you're out $50 for the base one, $100 for the middle one. So it's not the end of the world. Great way to learn, and if you're good enough, you can get started for very cheap, pass tests, start taking withdrawals, and then fund your own account with the profits. And again, your risk is small. Most day traders lose money regardless of where you go, including here. Generally, in general, it's a lot cheaper to lose here than it is to fund your own account tens of thousands of dollars. And again, I'm trading the futures market, the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell. Very similar to day trading stocks in terms of patterns. A great way to learn how to day trade when most day traders lose money, and TopStat's the most legit in the world. I'll put the link up. Here's the disclaimer. Remember, I can't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. Understand CFTC 4.41. You want to confirm it all with them. I can't guarantee anything, guys. With that said, look at this 150 level hold. Here's the link right there if you want to check it out. Again, they're a sponsor affiliate of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them. But genuinely useful. Look at that 150 level hold, though. Still rebounding back up. Is there a reason the market's green? Not that I know of. Probably just extension from the hangover of Friday. Moving up to test highs. Look at this level now. Projecting exactly off of that level. I don't even know where this level came from. I don't know when I drew that on my chart, but I did sometime. Even if it breaks over it, the fact that it respects it enough to pull back exactly there is interesting. Yeah, rate cutoffs are now 90% for September. 90%. Very high. All right, we just broke over the highs here. Microsoft's still plummeting or ripping up. See, I don't have any levels for a minute here. I got to draw some, so I'm going to look at... Here's 200 as well. Nvidia just broke highs of the day, almost up to 177s here. Very strong opening bell. Yeah, we do have factory orders going live in 15 minutes. We'll see what that looks like, but usually not much of a move. All right, so this 23.1 level held. At least close enough to it. This Christmas music again, bro? Why are they throwing Christmas music? Maybe it's not Christmas music. Okay, good. Still pushing. Very strong open. Microsoft is driving this push. We're at 535s for Microsoft. Up big. Apple's doing pretty good too. Hit 206s. Nvidia is also surging over highs as well. The new BLS chief, you think that's why markets are up? Maybe. I don't know. Getting ready to start shorting here, though, a little bit deeper here just because of extension. I'm going to start shorting here. I'm going to cover that real quick. Maybe get up, see if we bounce, and then I can short it. Yeah, that's why I shorted it right there. I shorted again. Cut that right there. I'm scalping these movements. Gold just broke highs again. It's up to 34.30s. Yeah, I'm just scalping the correction on pullbacks here. That's why I get in and out fast like that. I'm green on both accounts today doing this. I've actually been trading kind of counter trend, but we've been really, really strong in everything. Palantir's starting to creep back up to 160s. We'll look to maybe short this level up here, though, or start to add to it up here. Gotten a lot better at using limit orders to scalp these two. I cut it right there. That might be my first red trade in a minute. But we're actually short in our other account as well. We're kind of shorting this now too. We'll hold the rest break even. Can't really see it. I don't have time to put it up because we're kind of retracing back down. Crap, I just got filled accidentally. Okay, there we go. Got out green on that one too. Yeah, but at a certain point, this trend is too up. And so I like counter trending a little bit sometimes when we have like this much extension. Like, look, in the last 20 minutes, we've had 3 red candles in 20 minutes. So about 17 out of 20 green candles. That might show some extension. Might not. Depends on what the big boys do. Apple and Microsoft and Nvidia, especially Microsoft today, it's pushing up big. But you know, I think you can have edge on either side of the trend, but you got to just be willing to cut it if it goes against you. And usually the way I do it is I enter a position, get green, and then cut it break even if it starts to push up. That way, if it starts to reinforce the trend, I just get out, right? But if it starts to have a big breakdown, I can capitalize on it, if that makes sense. All right, guys, we got factory order data in 10 minutes. Yeah, so we got factory order data going live in 10 minutes. It's expected a negative 4.9%. Last time was positive 8.2%. It measures the change in the value of purchase orders with manufacturers, contains revisions of the durable goods order data released about a week ago as well. So I'm curious to see what this revision looks like for today. I'll be right back, guys. Carol's calling me over. Sorry, guys. Carol had to talk to me about something, where she's going. So we did bounce right at that 23.1 level. Is this my AirPod? Yes, it is. Apple's still pushing, Microsoft's still pushing, but we did have a little bit of a slowdown. Quantum stocks, they're up a lot since the opening bell as well. Microsoft, this seems like microchip and AI sentiment is up. So we did bounce at 23.1 or 23.2. Originally, I had this level at 23.230, and I think I'm going to put it back at that because I think that's what respected originally. 250's up there as well. But look at gold. Gold's at 34.40s. Gold's getting close to all-time highs. Yeah, there's lots of ways to trade, brother. It's all good, dude. Looks like a little bit of the volume's back. For a no economic data stream, we had a decent amount of people here. You know, NASDAQ just tested that 23.230 level that we talked about. And so we had a slower couple week period with, it looks like volume's back. Viewership's pretty solid still. We had over 800 today for a no economic report stream. So it's not bad. We got less than 5 minutes before the data comes out. Yeah, a lot of AI stocks are up today. That's what's pushing up big. We got 5 minutes until 10. Factory orders drop. We also have an update to durable good revisions. So we're going to see what that looks like, if that moves anything. And again, check out Top Step. Beautiful way to help support the channel. Like, I lost $4,000 in my first 3 weeks day trading. I thought I was going to be a rich guru in a month. You know, I kind of bought the hype and just lost thousands. And so stuff like Top Step can help you risk less. You're still probably going to lose, but if you're good enough to pass it, you can start taking payouts. But if not, it's $50. It's kind of like a challenge to learn how to day trade, and I think it makes sense to learn that way. But again, they're a sponsor. I don't think it's going to move markets much at all, to be honest. But it could. The big thing here is like we got factory orders, but it's also revisions to durable goods. And so, you know, we might see something. So we see orders for durable goods. So we'll see what that looks like. It's expected at 9.4% for durable, excluding defense month over month. Factory orders expected at minus 4.9%. We got vehicle sales for July at 16 million expected. We'll see what that looks like too. Amazon Autos is launching used certified pre-owned online sales according to Auto News. All right, 3 minutes. Did he really just post something about... I'm not getting into the jeans thing again. It's just too divisive. Yeah, I ain't getting into this jeans convo again. All right, NASDAQ just broke highs again. Let's watch 250s. We got 2 minutes before the factory orders data comes out. I don't know how much it's going to move stuff. All right, guys, we got a minute and a half left. All right, guys, 1 minute left. American Eagle's actually pumping up on this tweet, though. Look at this. American Eagle up to 20 or 12.25. So look at American Eagle pump now. All right, guys, less than a minute. I don't think this is going to move markets, just to clarify. Tomorrow's data, which is the trade balance, import, export, services, and ISM services data might. But I don't think today's necessarily is. We'll see. 30 seconds left. We'll see what we get. All right, here we go. Let's see what the data looks like. 10 seconds. All right, so here's the report. The report showed factory orders at minus 4.8%, a little bit less of a contraction in factory orders than expected. And so not really the worst. Durable goods orders updates showed as expected at 0.2% for excluding transport, and 9.4% decline for excluding defense. The factory orders came in mostly flat, not really anything that's going to move markets, and that's basically it. Yeah, so not too bad. And again, check out Top Step. You want to help support the channel. No PDT rule in futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, some currencies. Most day traders lose money, and so it's a cheap way to learn how to day trade when most day traders lose. Futures market is very similar to day trading stocks in terms of patterns. Your risk is just way less than having to fund thousands in an account. So check them out. Great way to help support the channel. I'll get out of here, guys. I love you all. Have a great day. Be safe in markets. Kind of a nothing report. Factory orders minus 4.8 versus minus 4.9 or 4.8 expected. Basically as expected. Although it did decrease from previously. Previously it showed up at 8.2% positive. This one showed up at a negative 4.8%, almost negative 5%. So big decrease in factory orders month over month. But we'll see what tomorrow shows us. Tomorrow we got updates on trade balance data expected at negative 62.6 billion. Last time was negative 71.5 billion. So a little bit more exports than imports. A little bit more exports than previously for our trade balance data. We also have ISM services data at 10 a.m. tomorrow and at 9:45 tomorrow. So we'll see what the update to PMI, Purchasing Managers Index, shows us. We also have the Atlanta Fed GDP and more. We got Palantir earnings in just a few hours, so I'll see you guys then. We will be streaming the closing bell with that type of stuff and Palantir earnings. So I'll see you guys over there. Y'all be safe. 1 second, actually. Hold on. I want to see what the market does real quick, but hold on 1 second. All right, so we do have Palantir earnings. I'm going to schedule the stream and then redirect you guys there so you guys can just see it. Again, it's today. Start the stream in about... All right, we're going to redirect to that stream. So again, as soon as we close this stream, it should immediately bring you to our scheduled Palantir earnings stream. Let me make sure it schedules. And then, so again, we'll be back in a few hours. Be ready for Palantir earnings. And again, as soon as we close the stream down, it should immediately redirect you to the Palantir stream. If not, for whatever reason, so you can stay on that watch page and just wait for us. But yeah, I'll see you guys over there. Okay, good luck. I love you all. Remember, not an investment professional. I'll see you guys in a couple hours. Later, chat.